Good afternoon. We wish you well in the name of the Lord of the universe, the most merciful, the most loving, the creator of all beings. In the last session, we talked about that the human being is divided into the body, the mind, and the soul, and that the human being is the base of the creation of the Almighty, of the Creator. And we talk about the need that we need the being needs nourishment, it needs enhancement, and it needs to develop and apply whatever it has acquired. It would mean that the body needs to go through the process of nourishment. It needs to, the mind also has to go through the process of nourishment, enhancement, and application. Now, this session we would like to delve a little bit deeper into what we mean by nourishment for all the three. I will start with the concept of nourishment for the body. Now, let us look at the human body. We know that the human body, the scriptures tells us that we are originally from clay. That everything that if you see the creation of food, the origin of food, whether or not it is protein, whether or not it's vegetable, whether or not it is fruits, whether or not it is carbohydrate, food meant for mankind, it all starts from the earth. The earth is the source of all nourishment. Not only that, alternative medicine practitioner will tell you that the earth has have ions that if in the morning, if you are to stand barefooted on the earth for 45 minutes, it's very good for your body. So there is everything that a human being takes for his nourishment comes from the earth. And when we die, we go back to the earth. So if you ask, what is the best form of nourishment for the human body? The logical answer would be all that comes naturally, developed naturally from the earth, either from the seed of the plant that grows into a fruit, into a vegetable, into a grain, into grass that's eaten by the cow, that gives us milk, that gives us meat, from the fish of the ocean. So, nourishment of the body, when you talk about created food that is artificially created. Now, when you talk about when you have food that is artificially created, then the body needs to break down the chemicals in it. Some of the chemicals found in the created food may not be beneficial for the human body, and we know that a lot of this chemical cause a lot of damage. So, like for instance, salt. There is a big difference between manufactured salt and sea salt, between natural sugar and manufactured sugar. Now, natural sugar that comes from either palm or cane is beneficial for the human body. I read studies that says that it doesn't cause diabetes. But the manufactured sugar is not natural sugar. So you have a lot of problems there. Like for instance, processed carbohydrates, rice for instance, wheat, which is processed carbohydrate, have a different effect compared to natural carbohydrates like yam, potato, sweet potato, corn. But nowadays we have GMOs, so that's another problem. Now, but so in gist, what I'm trying to say is that if you really look into the science of food, you would realize that the best kind of food for human beings would be from the earth. So, what then? It means that for nourishment, we've got to be looking at source of the nourishment. What is the source of the nourishment? Is the source of nourishment beneficial, in line with the creation of man himself? Now, the same thing would apply with knowledge. What is the source of the knowledge? What is the source of the knowledge in line with the creation of the human being, of the human mind? Now, because with the mind, you can be studying a lot of things, but if you study from a source that is that has no authenticity, no validity, you can be developing a mind frame that's actually very damaging. For instance, if you all your life you put your kids on the internet, listening, hearing to the games, the videos, what do you get? You get a mind that is one directional. But if your children are taught from the trees, from nature, if your children are taught to play outside, to use his hands, to learn from his experience of living, then it would have been a different thing. Now, this theory, the validity of this theory is to look into the education system of Japan and Finland, where children, until the young age of 8, 10, are not given any form of lessons. What they do is that they make children learn about how to wash the bathroom, how to clean the classroom, how to cook, how to cross the street, manners, etc., etc. They teach the children how to play. Now, and we know that the Japanese and the Finnish education system is recognized to be one of the finest in the world. Way of nourishment, whether or not the nourishment is valid or not valid, the criteria is to see whether or not this nourishment is in line with the innate nature of the human being. So if you go against this innate nature, you try and bend this innate nature, you start giving things which are not in line with this innate nature, then the development will not be in line with a human being. So you'll be creating human beings that are different. So, like the result would be that you have in society today a lot of violent people. You have a lot of society today which is very hungry. You get not talking about physical hunger. We get a lot of people who have this thirst for violence. Look at a lot of modern societies. They enjoy going into other countries and killing people, putting their knee on the neck of innocent victim, whether or not it is in America, whether or not it's in Palestine, whether or not in any other country. What's wrong with it? I mean, this feeling of superiority by inflicting pain, this feeling of superiority to make other people suffer, to make other people even to kill. And we're not talking about isolated cases. It's becoming to be a behavior. So we really have got to look and see whether or not the nourishment of the human being nourishment of the mind is based on the innate nature of the human being. Because the human being is a creation, innately it is a creation that has love for other creation. So when you talk about the development of the mind, it has got to be in line with this. So if you give it the wrong food, like there's so many examples whereby in society we have got people who has been given wrong kind of nourishment who end up being problems for humanity, really serious problem for humanity. So we have to really look again and see how we raise our children, what kind of lessons we've got to give to our children so that they will develop in a more balanced and a more humane way. So what is fed to the children becomes critical, just like what is given in as far as food is concerned, given for the body, is so important that what is given to the mind is also good. It's also very important. So the next element would be, of course, the soul. Now, the soul is, unlike the mind and the body, is more abstract. So it is a feeling. It is a state that acquires feeling, that has feeling. It is a state where that manifests love. It is a state where it knows who its creator is. So if this soul is always given the belief that it can be happy with things which are transient, with things which are artificial, with things that are not in line with the nature of humanity. I give an example. If a child, since young, he's been exposed to seeing videos of war games, shooting everywhere. He finds nourishment from video games of people shooting each other. It's so normal to him. It's so normal to him that you have a gun, you go killing each other, you killing other people, even innocent people. So this child goes up to believe that you can get joy by just killing. You can get justification by just killing. So this belief that satisfaction can be achieved by this behavior becomes part and parcel of this child. So you are feeding a soul with poison. You are feeding the soul with actually poison. They will ultimately damage him. So the soul, from the time the child is born, is like an empty vacuum, like the mind, like the body. It has to be fed with the right kind of food. The food that would create a human being that has compassion, that has the ability to be healthy, that has the ability to be compassionate, that has the capacity to love, not only himself, but also to love the other creation. So it is very important that we consider, that we look and examine what are the nourishment that we give ourselves, and more important, what are the nourishment that we give our children and the generation after us, so that we will not create monsters walking down the street. I see on the TV, for instance, the riots in so many society, and I ask myself, what happened to these human beings? I mean, how is it that it's so easy when you spark something for them to become violent? What's wrong? What's wrong with us, humanity? After all this that we know, after all that we have developed, after all the food that we have created, what's wrong with us? Where have we gone wrong? That we have created generations that has ego, that takes satisfaction by inflicting pain on others. What is wrong with us, humanity? So, to me, this COVID-19 is a blessing for us, for it has created a reason for humanity to examine itself, to take stock of its humanity itself. So, we really now have got to ask ourselves, examine ourselves, where do we go? And we can't just keep on living without examining How do we nourish ourselves? How do we nourish our mind? How do we nourish our body? And how do we nourish our soul? And if we don't do that for ourselves and for the generation after us, I think self-destruct mechanism will come into place. We thank you for spending time with us. We welcome comments. We welcome questions on this series. You can post a question either on our Facebook or on the link in the YouTube. And we would appreciate that you like, subscribe, and share our channel. And we wish again very good day, and we pray that all of us is given the opportunity to love ourselves and to love fellow human beings. Good day.